Yungeen Ace just broke down in court after new footage directly linked him to the crime scene. Honestly, no one in the streets is shocked. People have been
I'm the one that smacked Foolio that night when he got dropped at the birthday celebration, bro. Ace had that money on his head, you know, Ace had to put that 10K up. Told me to slide.
Whispering about his involvement from the start. And now, with this video, everything's starting to make sense. I'll break down what the footage shows and what this could mean for Yungeen Ace and Foolio's murder. Foolio's killers aren't just showing no remorse, they're actually mocking his death. Not long ago, one of them, Isaiah Chance, was caught on camera in court, casually bobbing his head to Who I Smoke, the viral Yungeen Ace diss track that disrespects Foolio and his whole crew. That moment was already disturbing, but what just happened in court crossed into something way darker. Before we get into their twisted courtroom behavior and the cruel message they just sent, let's go back to the night that sealed Foolio's fate. June 23, 2024 was supposed to be a celebration. The 26-year-old rapper planned to spend his birthday in Tampa, Florida, far away from Jacksonville's violent streets that had already taken so many of his loved ones. He had made it real success in the rap game, millions of streams and enough money to enjoy life beyond the projects. But the past has a way of catching up. The deadly feud that defined his career was now about to claim its biggest victim. What happened in the early morning hours of June 24th wasn't something Foolio ever saw coming. While celebrating his birthday,
Jones was in town celebrating his birthday and posted on his social media his locations several times throughout that night. Surveillance video was critical in this investigation, as suspects were seen on video following Jones from location to location.
Foolio, real name Charles Jones, posted his location several times on social media throughout the night. What seemed like an innocent way to share his big night with fans turned into a fatal mistake. His enemies now had live updates on his movements. The killers came prepared. Eventually, 5 people would be arrested for the murder: Isaiah Chance, Elisa Andrews, Sean Gathright, Davin Murphy, and Richard Murphy. But this wasn't a random hit. The evidence would reveal pre-planning that even shocked veteran homicide detectives. Investigators later uncovered chilling details. The killers used their mother's car, stayed at an Airbnb just a mile from the murder scene, and made calls on their personal phones. Prosecutors called this case a layup because of how much evidence there was. The planning and coordination among the 5 suspects was disturbing. It was clear they came to Tampa for one reason: to kill. But the way they moved was also shockingly careless. It was like they either didn't care about getting caught or were too confident that they wouldn't. Throughout the night, they hunted Foolio with calm, steady focus, like they weren't in a rush. They tracked him, watched his security, and waited for the perfect moment. They weren't leaving anything to chance. They followed him from spot to spot. That moment came at 4:15 a.m. Jones was heading to a hotel on McKinley. One of the suspects' cars was seen following him but stopped across the street instead of going into the parking lot. Their positioning showed tactical, almost military style. Planning, they didn't rush, they set up for the best angle and lowest risk. What happened next was caught on surveillance cameras. The footage was so clear that the courtroom felt like a movie theater playing.
3 shooters exit a vehicle and walked in the direction of the hotel. They murdered Jones with a handgun and 2 rifles. This barrage of gunfire also struck 3 additional victims who miraculously survived this incident.
The final moments of Foolio's life. But what made this case truly disturbing?
He's the right front passenger in that vehicle. It's clear from that video what they were set out to do and what they had planned to do. The investigation would later reveal that the 3 armed shooters were Sean Gathright, Richard Murphy, and Davion Murphy.
It wasn't just the cold execution. It's what happened right after. While Foolio was dying in that hotel parking lot, while his friends fought for their lives, and while his mother got the call every parent dreads, one of his killers was already celebrating. A message sent from Sean Gathwright's phone, but linked to Richard Murphy, one of the shooters, became key to the prosecution's case. Hours after the murder, the text read, "I'm coming home. My thirst is quenched. Pop a bottle of Don Julio today." The cruelty of this message can't be overstated. Thirst is quenched sounded like he was satisfied, like he got his revenge. And popping a bottle of Don Julio wasn't just a party, it was a disrespectful play on Foolio's stage name. Detectives later uncovered the deep layers of the conspiracy and the gang ties that drove this killing. Investigators believe members of ATK and the 12,200 set this up as part of their ongoing Jacksonville war. This wasn't just street beef that followed Foolio to Tampa, it was a carefully planned hit by rival gangs. All 5 suspects now face first-degree murder charges. The state is going after the death penalty for the 4 male suspects. Elisa Andrews, who was pregnant when she got arrested, won't face capital punishment. The decision to pursue the death penalty highlights how brutal and calculated this murder was. The arrests showed just how messy their planning had been. They executed the hit with cold precision but left behind so much evidence it was almost unbelievable. Cops used surveillance footage, license plate readers, and phone records to track 2 cars and link them to the suspects. But the most revealing clue wasn't just the digital trail, it was their attitude. Elisa Andrews told police she let the others use her phone and claimed she didn't know anything about the murder plans. But that excuse doesn't hold up when you consider the level of coordination needed to track someone across multiple places. In a city you don't know, then kill them with near-military precision. Foolio's death wasn't just another statistic, it sent shockwaves through the rap community and the streets. Authorities made it clear this wouldn't go unpunished. But this wasn't just a random act of violence, it was the next chapter in a long, bloody street war that had been boiling for years. The investigation moved slowly, but when it reached the courtroom,
I want to send a clear message to anyone that the city of Tampa is not where you want to come to settle a dispute. You will be charged, you will be arrested, and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent possible.
what came out shocked even those who know how brutal gang life can be. The killers who plotted Foolio's death are now staring at the ultimate punishment under Florida law. But what they've been doing in court shows a level of arrogance that's hard to understand. Their first court appearances were routine, but it was clear this would be a complicated battle. Each suspect had their own lawyer, their own strategy, and they all tried to avoid the death penalty that prosecutors are pushing for hard. Florida law says if you help plan a murder, even if you don't pull the trigger, you can still be charged like you did. And that's exactly what the prosecutors are doing, going after everyone involved, not just the shooters. The evidence laid out by the state showed these defendants weren't sorry. They actually seemed proud of what they did. The key message came from one of the suspects' phones after Foolio's murder. It was the same text we talked about earlier, the one prosecutors said showed how heartless they were. This was sent from Gathrights' phone, but they linked it to Murphy, one of the shooters. The timing just hours after the murder proved they weren't conflicted, they were celebrating. When this detail came out, the internet exploded. Post by Seichi's DGTL on August 7th, 2024 went viral, showing the message. One of Foolio's murder suspects, Rashad Murphy aka Ghost, sent this text just hours after the killing. I'm coming home, my thirst is quenched. Pop a bottle of Don Julio today. The post racked up over 1.6 million views, with people horrified by how openly cold-blooded it was. As the trial continued, the suspect's behavior stayed cocky and disrespectful. Rashad Murphy, one of the shooters, stood out the most. On January 14, 2025, he wrote a letter to the judge talking about his fiancée, their relationship since they were 13, and how he's been there for their 4 kids. It was clearly a move to make him seem like a family man and get some sympathy. But it was hard to ignore that this is the same man accused of killing someone else's son, brother, and cousin. And Murphy wasn't done. On January 29, 2025, he went against his lawyer's advice and asked to represent himself, demanding a speedy trial that could have forced things to start within 5 days. The judge warned him how dangerous it is to represent yourself in a death penalty case, but Murphy didn't seem to care. A hearing was set for February 4th, 2025, to figure out if he's even mentally fit to represent himself. Whether this is some risky legal move or just more reckless behavior is still unclear. The prosecutors already have a mountain of evidence, but dealing with multiple suspects, each with their own defense tactics, makes the case more complicated. Bond hearings have been a major focus in this case, with all 5 suspects denied bail due to how serious the charges are and the danger they pose to the community. One of the most intense hearings involved Davin Murphy, one of the alleged shooters. His 5-hour bond hearing on January 16, 2025, was when the state officially announced plans to seek the death penalty. The hearing wasn't just about bail, it became a chance for prosecutors to preview their case, showing the gang war connections and using gang-related music as evidence. What came out during these hearings revealed deeper, personal reasons behind the killing. The court also heard about family connections to the violence. Testimony revealed that Rashad Murphy's cousin, Joe Rod Adams, was killed at a Rains High School football game on August 24, 2018, a tragedy that Foolio had mentioned in his songs. Rashad reportedly disliked these references, adding a personal motive to the case. This showed that Foolio's killers weren't random people looking for money or street fame. They had personal vendettas tied to family losses, seeing Foolio's murder not as a crime but as payback. Other defendants appeared in court too, with different strategies. Shaw Gathright, Isaiah Chance, and Alicia Andrews also had their hearings, and 3 pleaded not guilty on August 28, 2024, in Hillsborough County. The not guilty pleas were expected but confirmed that prosecutors would need to prove everything beyond reasonable doubt, while the defendants would fight to avoid life sentences. Alicia Andrews' situation added a complicated twist. She was pregnant when arrested, and in court in September 2024, it was confirmed she wouldn't face the death penalty like the men. She still faced first-degree murder charges, but her case would likely follow a different legal path. Prosecutors made it clear this wasn't just another gang killing. State Attorney Susie Lopez said the case carried huge weight and was about much more than street violence. Even while the system moved through its slow legal steps, the human cost of what happened was always present. The investigation kept uncovering chilling details about the killer's planning. A viral post by @VA_fly on August 7, 2024, explained how the suspects used their mother's car, rented an Airbnb just a mile from the crime scene, and used their own phones, making the case feel like an easy win for prosecutors. The way they planned, casually using family cars and treating it like a weekend trip, showed just how numb to violence they were. It was like planning a concert instead of a murder. Prosecutors spoke boldly and confidently about their chances in this case, including their decision to push for the death penalty for several suspects. Whether they'll actually win is still uncertain, but right now, things oddly seem to favor the accused. Since Foolio's death, one name keeps coming up: Yungeen Ace. The long rivalry between Foolio and Ace shaped Jacksonville's drill rap scene for years, causing violent clashes and major losses on both sides. After Foolio was killed on his 26th birthday, many immediately suspected Ace's involvement. Ace's recent behavior, mysterious comments, and lyrics have made the public question whether Foolio's murder was a carefully planned hit by Ace or simply the natural result of their feud spiraling out of control. Adding more heat is a viral video of a masked man wearing an orange beanie claiming responsibility for Foolio's murder. In the clip, he says Ace paid him $10,000 to kill Foolio, bragging that he personally attacked Foolio that night. Whether the confession is real or just for clout, it's increased suspicion around Ace. The man showed no regret, saying, "It is what it is, bro. They don't care about that money. Anybody can get it." Theo had it coming. His loyalty to Ace's ATK crew made his story even more believable, hinting at a deeper gang motive tied to their war with Foolio's KDA gang. But despite the shocking video, police haven't confirmed if the masked man's story is true. They also haven't made any moves to arrest him. This silence from law enforcement has frustrated many who wonder if Ace's fame and money are protecting him from serious investigation. Even though the confession is unverified, it has blown up online, fueling the idea that Ace might be linked to the murder. Making it worse, just hours after Foolio's death, Ace dropped a diss track called "Do It," which fans immediately saw as a possible taunt about the killing. The song's aggressive lyrics seem to hint at
on everything I love, bro. On the dead homies, bro. I put it on everything, on my soul, on my kids. I'm the one that smacked Foolio that night when he got dropped at his birthday celebration, bro.
Foolio's murder. 7 days a week we run this per. We spinning any day this week. I better come up missing, better stay on point. Wet. He better not be out here slipping. These lines sounded like they were celebrating non-stop street warfare, where one small mistake could cost someone their life. Ace also kept throwing shots at an unnamed target who is trying and dying. Many fans saw this as a direct hit at Foolio. The video added fuel to the fire when Ace was seen holding a bottle of Don Julio tequila, a possible reference to Foolio's stage name, Julio Foolio. Social media lit up, with fans pointing out the tequila bottle and calling it a cruel jab. One YouTube commenter wrote, "The Don Julio bottle in the video is diabolical," while another said, "Claiming bodies has to be the dumbest flex in history." The timing of the video, the lyrics, and the silence from Ace on the situation made people believe this was a carefully calculated move to hint at Foolio's murder without saying it directly. With the pressure mounting, Ace finally spoke out. He denied any involvement in Foolio's death during an Instagram live session. Ace said that, despite their long-running beef, they had recently squashed it. According to him, they were actually cool before Foolio's murder, and he even gave Foolio advice to stay out of the streets. "It's so funny because we were cool," Ace told his followers. "I was just talking to him. I was like, bro, you gotta stay out of the way. You know, we love you out here. IF **** with you, real?" But this sudden story about their friendship raised eyebrows. Many fans questioned his credibility, especially when compared to the harsh lyrics in "Do It." The same guy bragging about spinning on his ops was now claiming he and Foolio were on good terms. Critics saw this as a clever move to distance himself from the murder while still riding the wave of attention. It looked like Ace wanted the buzz without the consequences. To really understand why people suspect Ace, you have to look at the history. Ace and Foolio's beef wasn't just about music. It was a violent public war between their gangs. Ace repped ATK, Ace's top killers, and Foolio was part of KDA. Kill them all. Their feud went viral in 2018 when Ace dropped "Who I Smoke," calling out Foolio's dead friends by name. Foolio fired back with "When I See You," a track that sampled news clips about Ace's brother's death. Both songs went viral, drawing millions of views and turning fans into battle lines. The back and forth quickly went beyond diss tracks. It turned into shootings, threats, and real street violence, pushing the ATK versus KDA war to a dangerous peak. When Foolio was killed, many saw it as tragic, but also as the inevitable outcome of this deadly feud. But if Ace really played a role in setting it up, it would mean this rivalry crossed a line into full-blown, premeditated murder. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, JSO, has been watching both gangs for years and often links them to the city's violent crimes. After Foolio's death, JSO held a press conference warning both gangs to stand down. Sheriff TK Waters spoke bluntly about how social media makes this worse. "Young people think this is a game," Waters said. "They make it like it's a video. Game it's not, this is real life." He has a mother, parents, siblings, friends who now have to deal with this loss. It's tragic. Waters also talked about how rappers using social media to glorify violence often leads to real-world killings. He warned both ATK and KTA that police would be watching closely and that any retaliation would be met with serious consequences. Law enforcement knows Foolio and Ace's gang ties, and they're taking Foolio's death seriously. But even with all this public attention, no hard evidence has surfaced to directly link Ace to the murder. Still, the public keeps analyzing Ace's music, posts, and actions, looking for signs. Some see him as a cold-blooded mastermind who's using street violence for fame. Others think he's a talented rapper stuck in a deadly culture he can't escape. Either way, this shadow over Ace could follow him for the rest of his career. The question of whether he had anything to do with Foolio's murder won't go away anytime soon. For more stories like this, click the video on your screen. Now,